This happens a lot.
Let's see whether Kiwoom DRX are able to get back on the horse and make this one happen. It was an odd draft in game number 1, largely on the T1 side, but also on the Kiwoom DRX side. But they are still going to ban the Bud.
They will. I think that should continue. Jace will be banned here. And though Doran has... there were some shaky moments.
Yeah.
Varus against LazyFeel, that's fair. It's one of his best picks alongside the Ezreal, and Varus is just kind of... He's too flexible. He does too many things. So Jace and Gnar. So they're saying, you know,
First pick Renekton.
Rich, you, here you go. Good luck. It's going to be you. You're the guy.
Well, let's see whether he can be the guy. As one last ban, Orianna, Azir, both of them still up and available.
Pantheon.
Ooh, Pantheon of the big one.
Nocturne.
Well, Nocturne is going to be the ban, so now they have to choose.
First pick Pantheon?
Orianna is up, though, and Ucal can never resist the call of the orb.
Not to mention that giving Orianna to Faker never seems like a good idea.
True.
But giving Pantheon to Oner, also bad.
Yeah.
Also not ideal. Ooh, and they get Azir this time, too, because they didn't ban it in game 2.
So Azir Pantheon.
Wow.
That is some big champions.
That's okay. Orianna still has Jarvan as a ball carrier.
Oh, wait. Yeah, sometimes
you and I are the script writers, so we
like
gotta pretend like we, know what's going on.
That was actually really cute.
Yeah,
doing the strategic forget of the fact that Fearless exists.
But we did kind of let the Renekton slip a little bit earlier, but it's fine.
No, we just wanted to sound smart, and I don't know whether it's even smart, to be honest.
Well, it is protected, but there's still a cannon.
There are some champions you can pick into it.
Zeus 100% plays Kennen here, but he's not on T1 anymore, and
no,
not sure what they are going to run with this. The Vi makes a lot of sense to, be not the greatest ball carrier, but she's pretty up there. And also Renekton, similar story. They've got a lot of engage. They have a lot of explosive damage. We'll see what LazyFeel gets his hands on. As here, Kennen, are you playing? You're playing Vayne.
Playing Vayne. The Doran Vayne.
That makes me very nervous.
I am so anxious. At least I'm pretending to be, because we wrote the script to this game.
Yeah, when
we told you it was going to be some fun.
When you watch a young child run to jump on a skateboard, you have that
oh god, yep. Yeah,
but then usually they wouldn't do it if they'd never done before. They'll be fine. Maybe that's what what's going on here. For me and my brain for watching Doran pick Vayne.
Yeah, this was rude of us, wasn't it?
It'll probably be fine, but I'm very nervous about it.
Let's see what these bans are going to look like. As Pyke, Nautilus, both going to be taken away from Andil. The Pyke, something that Keria has found a lot of success on, but not going to be playing it this game because they decided to ban it away. And there is the Caitlyn ban as well for Peyz. So what we're going to be doing here towards the bottom side, it looks like an Ashe Seraphine angle. Might be on the cards.
Gone, Bard's gone. And Karma obviously gone, but
well, they can play Yunara.
Lulu with Vi is pretty good, but it's a tough lane. It's a tough lane. It is playable, but it is very tough.
Does Keria actually want to play Seraphine? That's the question. Because my gut says no. My gut says he wants to play something else, but he is going to lock in Seraphine.
That was very crafty of you.
Thank you.
I really like how you were trying to pretend like
yeah. I'd like to, keep the element of suspense.
You did kind of tease it before we got into the draft. You can't wait to see what Keria is going to play in this game.
Yeah, apparently I could wait, as it turns out. It's just Seraphine. But this is a pretty strong draft outside of the Vayne situation.
I kind of feel like if you took away the bottom lane matchup, if it was almost anything else, like Lucian Nami or something like that, I'd be like, wow, Kiwoom's draft's sick. It's actually so good. You've got, a great lockdown for any target. Like, even the Lucian tries to go and you blow him up. It doesn't matter what AD carry it is. Even the Azir is not necessarily safe. You got to deal with the shockwaves. You got to deal with the Vi engage, with Lulu follow-up. But the bottom lane is a bit lopsided. The Renekton may struggle into the Vi. We'll see with Vayne. Your mileage may vary. Your success rate may depend on the individual performance on the day and/or condition of both players.
Yeah, terms and conditions apply. Let's just say that. And if you are playing some Vayne spotting, just make sure that you do it responsibly. Okay, everyone? Feel free to substitute water if things are going dire. And we'll keep you up to date as to whether or not we do need to get some water in there. Instead, stay hydrated. Let's go into game number 2 here between T1 Kiwoom DRX.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, a little bit better coordination on the fan chant there for Kiwoom DRX. I respect it. And here we are, onto the Rift for game number 2. This could be a game that Rich hard carries.
It could be.
Oh, it's also Doran going for Ghost instead of Exhaust. We've seen a lot of Exhaust for our AD carry top lanes, be it Varus or the Vayne. But this time going a bit of a ghosty route instead.
It's really good into, or with rather, I think Ashe Seraphine to follow up.
Oh, that's true.
It's really strong and you're going to get empowered. But I kind of like Exhaust because it's both good into the Renekton in lane, but also really good for just exhausting Yunara in team fights. But either way, we'll see how it works out.
Nice avoidance of the high note there. Keria is unable to hit all of the damage. Misses that one as well. High value.
Keria did do all of the pea shooter damage, though, with the little passive where the stars are like...
Yeah, that's true. Is that the high note? Is that the passive?
I don't know actually what the name of it is.
I know the W is called surround sound. You press that button, there's the beat drop. Know that one as well. And that is going to cause LazyFeel to go down to about 50%. Andil is going to suffer the same treatment here.
It's so annoying playing this lane. There's roots, there's slows. Keria's doing the annoying, like, you know, pixie dust flies at you. Also, he's got airy. It's just like, bam, 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 bam. You're like, oh, God, I'm just trying to kill the minions. Just want to play the lane. I got a Lulu lane. It wins, right? It's fine, right? It's the ranged one. It's a little tough,
Yeah.
A little hard.
T1 having a good time, we could say. Right now, Willer is sort of nowhere near this bottom lane, but could come down there and instead is just going to be pathing top. You've got Oner pathing towards the bottom side as Doran has shoved this wave in. I think landing on the top side of the map as the Vi seems like a good idea. Some Condemn just thrown out there by Doran for fun. And
a lot of lost minions here for Rich. Lost the cannon as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be a very good time, is it, for this Renekton? Especially
if by very you mean a good time at all, then yes.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Something. We mean something. He's going to have feelings about the lane.
Let's just say the
probably
number
going to be negative.
The number in the middle of the scoreboard between the Vayne and the Renekton is probably blue colored for a while.
Yeah, maybe even forever. As Peyz gets slurkled.
He's kind of low.
There is a potential angle there, but there is no Vi in the vicinity. And here is a dive. Let's see. Peyz's health bar is very low, but Oner goes in. They look to take down LazyFeel. That is going to be the first one. Flash out from Oner. And T1 really do want to kill Andil as well. That is going to be Keria immediately dead. And the spear is going to miss. Willer's going to come over and kill Oner. And yep, just doesn't really need to do much of anything at all.
Yeah, I like the part where they get the first kill. And then I was kind of expecting they leave.
Yeah.
However, because, you know, Seraphine does a lot of things, but tanking turrets, not generally one of her strongest points.
So you say that. However, I saw her very efficiently tank the turret to the point where she managed to tank it with all of her health bar in one shot.
Yeah.
That was, I'd say, very, very good tanking of the turret.
I guess it's like fairly efficient.
Yeah, see?
The turret ammunition usage. I mean, turrets don't have ammo, but if they did.
Yeah.
All right, so this part, great. Oner flashes out, and Keria's like, the Pantheon couldn't handle it. I'm actually the next level. And obviously, the idea is...
It was a great flash from Andil.
Andil plays it well. The idea is that he'll sacrifice for Peyz to get a second kill.
Yeah.
Instead, he dies, and then Oner also dies, because Willer comes here to clean up the pieces. So, bit of a backfire there.
And now you can see all of the numbers outside of the one that you said was going to be perpetually blue are red, which is certainly good news. Peyz has to use a barrier here as well, but LazyFeel does go down very, very low. Does manage to charge up that Q though, as we can see. Speaking of charged Qs, Peyz has one of those as well as the beat drops, and LazyFeel is just dead. Peyz very, very close to dead himself and will go down. Now some supportal combat to finish it off, and Keria this time gets his revenge.
That's unfortunate. got caught by the root. If he gets out there, I mean, he wasn't that far behind. He has a cull, but...
And both of the kills went to Andil.
Yeah.
That's the really unfortunate part. Does mean that Peyz now has a decent advantage, and Keria gets to stick around and crash this wave. Let's have a look at how it all happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's just root here with the slow coming through, but it's not enough damage. Peyz is forced to barrier, but unfortunately, you don't have the same sort of sustained damage here when you run out of Q. LazyFeel is running out of Q and also ends up getting caught. So Andil here at least trades it back. Not sure if Peyz had to play it exactly like that. He could have tried to back off and might have lived there, but just wanted to guarantee the kill. And he was just like, I'm not going to have any hesitation. Is nice. Knock
Very
the wall.
nice. Condemn.
Rich hits level 6, but it's not going to be good news for a while.
Yeah.
This is what people talk about when they say, I hate it when I play against ranged top laners.
I feel like playing Renekton into Vayne is like doing a dopamine detox. As there is the beat drop kind of missing entirely.
Punish me, Blade Hunter Lady.
Yeah.
Like, at least with Quinn, you can go for cleanse and be like, all right, or sorry, the you know, she goes for cleanse and tries to kill you and they can't even W, but the Vayne is just like, I'm trying to get towards the Vayne. I got condemned.
Yep.
I got condemned into my turret.
And I will never hit a W on this champion.
Yeah, you can't actually W Vayne. Like, he doesn't need cleanse.
Yeah. It's just a bad
Those
time.
are the ones, you know, Renekton hates those two.
Yep. And normally you're like really happy about like,
Oner.
I'm hitting my item spike, I'm hitting my ultimate, things are great. But then you don't feel good because you remember you're in a Vayne lane. And that's just how it is. Rich is able to get 43 CS, so that's better than 0. But he's
Better
still
than like 30
behind.
that we have seen some players get stuck in. But yeah, there has not been any jungle intervention because they know that Rich is detoxing.
Yeah.
And so they don't want to interfere.
Well, you know, proud of him for making that choice.
They don't want to enable him to get kills or be happy.
Yeah, exactly. You don't be that guy. You know, if they make that decision, you have to respect it.
Well, there's like, call on me if you need me. I'm up here. Just like, I'm only going to come if you say.
Yeah.
And then Rich like eats that damage and doesn't have Fury anymore. And he's like, actually, like, I don't think you can even make me happy if you try.
No.
No dopamine allowed.
Well, he is blue number go up on the Doran side of things. And Keria and Peyz continuing to shove things in. I think they're feeling pretty good. Things very even as far as the mid lane is concerned. The jungle as well. Nothing really to write home about, as Willa does have a few extra camps because he didn't spend any time dead. And Kiwoom DRX, I mean, they're behind, but I think it's kind of okay. It all depends about how these team fights are going to look. Obviously, we talk about this with Vayne compositions all the time. How do you then transition it into playing a late game? And that is what I'm very intrigued about.
Well,
it's also Doran playing the champion.
He does like to go from far away to get on top of you, stun you, become undamageable, and then press Q and kill you.
Well, that is precisely what he's going to look for here. That's a high-value flash from Willa, as he does get a Vault Breaker, decent Polymorph there, as Oner has to flash away. LazyFeel has ulted, does find that Arc of Judgment as well, as Oner, without a flash, is he's just walking to his doom. So that was never going to be a good thing.
That was a really good response there from Kiwoom DRX, and also the formula I was talking about for Pantheon, he skipped the first step, which was to ult from far away on top of somebody who didn't have friends.
He wanted to skip that step.
Yeah, he did. And it's okay because the thought process was a little bit different there, and he was challenging for a buff, and they were invading the jungle, and it wasn't a I'm just going to go kill Yunara now. He was fighting here for this blue buff. However, going in here, I get it. There's the ult follow-up, but Willer just broke his ankles. And then also Keria did not get his ultimate to extend there, and so now he's just stuck because he flashed for that, and so now dead.
Yep. Nothing that Oner was going to be able to do there. Sometimes you walk into a pit and then realize that, hang on, I don't have any way of getting over walls.
I don't know if it was necessary for them to commit that much for the blue buff, but they wanted to play through Prio, and it's a trap you can find yourselves in when you have an Ashe Seraphine lane and a Pantheon. You're like, nah, there's no way they can contest this. But if you outplay, then suddenly the Pantheon is like, oh, I used my buttons.
And there's some skirmishing power on this, this KRX composition too. You can see, I mean, Peyz is ahead by only by a very small amount, despite the CS gap between him and LazyFeel. And Keria still trying to do what he can, but I do feel like the value of the Lulu Yunara later on in the game is going to be higher. Obviously, it depends how things are played, but
yes.
Still, in theory, the wild growth is very powerful, and Rich is going to be very strong because of it.
I mean, with 500 gold deficit, that means a lot right now. But in 20 minutes, if that has remained the same, it means very little.
Yeah.
And he obviously can follow up on so many of these CCs. Like, even Polymorph, he's like, I'm in there, you know? And Peyz needs to be very careful as a result. Or very aggressive in this case.
Yeah. LazyFeel is just going to have to ult and dash away. Tries to get some damage down, but there's the beat drop. Gets the arc, and that is going to at least deter them from going any further forward. But Peyz still had barrier. They were still ready to fight. And LazyFeel and Andil are not looking so hard. Double flash is still available for this bottom lane, but the barrier heal advantage here for T1 means that they will have a lot of control as Willa moves down towards his bottom side. Ball breakers into vision, though.
Okay, this is a very tense situation.
There is a Pantheon.
Yeah, Pantheon has ult, but I think even trying to fight this into Ashe Seraphine with the Encore available is risky in itself, even in a 3v2. And knowing that Pantheon is nearby, I don't think they should force this. Although Wither has other ideas. He is still lurking. He is looking for the charged Q engage. Doesn't have flash. Like, I think just walk away. They want to defend this turret, but it's just going to be more plates over, and they will ultimately have to back.
Yeah. LazyFeel was doing a great job baiting.
Yes.
They did discover that if they had have successfully baited, he would have just died anyway. As Willa is going to move on over and look to take down this Cloud Drake, which is going to be the second of the game. Double Dragon would be very nice here for Kiwoom DRX.
Unfortunately, Keria and Peyz are away, so not a lot of control here for T1 on this Dragon. I think Kiwoom are just going to have this one on lock. Let's see what the soul is going to be. Oh, that's really
another
important.
Chemtech, that it is.
Oh, come on.
Fox, please, man.
Actually pretty good for both comps.
Honestly, yeah, with a Lulu and a Seraphine.
When you have an Enchanter, not only the individual dragons fantastic, but when your carry goes sub 50% health and then is doing damage while getting healed, you get a ton of value. So as long as you're remaining under 50, which happens a lot of the time. And now Vayne's got Hexplate. T1 are kind of firing on all cylinders here. It has not been the most dominant early game that we've ever seen from an Ashe Seraphine, but they are still in prime position. Maybe a caster curse. I was not aware that Willer was getting his flashback here in this alcove. But look at the patience. Look at the respect.
There it is. Just going to go back home. And so it is just a 2v2. No Pantheon in the area either.
It may have been spotted there by T1. I'm not 100% sure about why Peyz and Keria were so incredibly safe there, but
just not enough information.
Yeah.
They do get the ping out onto the Vi as he gets back towards his red buff, and now they go aggressive. Arrow is going to connect. There's the Encore as LazyFeel takes a lot of damage. Still he gets the heal. Might actually, as he survived the opening salvo, be able to do something, but instead he just dashes in. The wild growth to get the knock up onto Peyz, who flashes out of the way, and Keria might be able to get it. Never mind. It's just a volley to pick up the kill. I loved the idea from LazyFeel and Andil there. Unfortunately, it just didn't work.
If LazyFeel had barrier, maybe. He's a few seconds away.
Oh, man.
He was 0 and 2. I mean, they had item parity. It's a Kraken Slayer between them.
It would have been so cool if it had to work.
It just didn't, you know, it was so close to working out. Unfortunately, Oner was also coming down. But, man, it looked really cool. But it backfires in a big way.
We're going to see Oner find a bit of a stun onto Willa here. He was able to get a bit of damage back himself. Still, just a battle for the Raptor camp. As Rich has decided to leave his top lane, understandable. Teleport towards the bottom lane for Doran, though, so it is going to be an Azir versus Renekton matchup. Let's check this one out one more time.
It's so unfortunate for LazyFeel. He loses so much health here because he almost avoids the CC. But that scenario that's created is why he looks for the flash in here with the wild growth. Dash flash in, gets on top of Peyz, and again, his barrier is just a few seconds away.
Oh, just needed that one extra order.
One more would have done it.
But good close.
If he had taken just a little bit less damage there from Keria right before.
But I mean, even in that exchange, like, he avoided volley damage by standing behind his Lulu. Like, he did a lot in order to, like, maximize the amount of surviving that he did. Just unfortunately wasn't enough. As Ucal, he's looking to come over and kill Doran here, get some revenge for Rich. As Doran is just going to clear out these minions. And we've got relentless pings here on this bottom side. Still 2 minutes away from the Dragon. Not a whole lot to fight for down there.
Yeah, 2 minutes away. I think just making sure that there wasn't going to be a collapse. Pantheon's ult's not up just yet. And we do have Rift Herald being pretty heavily ignored at the moment. And Faker is actually not able to get a ton of control topside right now. So it's going to be a bit of a slow take on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be Willa going back, so they don't decide to start it up.
Yeah, they get the residual scuttle vision, or not residual, but just straight up scuttle vision here. They secure the crab, and so Oner is seen by it, is what I'm really getting at.
But Willa didn't have time to actually cancel his back. It was kind of very awkward as he comes into vision to start off this Rift Herald as Willa hits the shop.
And I guess instead of, going for this, they're going to try to maybe dive this TPing Azir. I don't think so. He's also got vision. Faker's like, no, you're not going to get a cross-map turret. And in fact, they will not, I don't think.
Well, they're going to look for it here. There's the shockwave. The arrow, though, to interrupt. And Faker will just sweep them away. Flashes out of the way of Willa there as well. And Oner from the sky will execute his opposite number. Oh, God. The T1 outplay under the turret. Ganking Faker has always been a mistake in a side lane. And that is a perfect example as to why.
I just thought, okay, he's got flash, he's got ult. But then I was like, okay, well, there's a Vi there. I don't know how much that's going to matter necessarily, but Peyz has got the goats back. That angle was crazy. And then Faker is able to get the freebie.
Yeah. The way that Faker played it like from the outset as well, just beautifully done.
Everything about that was just like, it makes you want to type /FF, you know? Okay. Like he flashes for the Q extension. Then the stun comes through, he goes on the Orianna, maxes out the damage there, then is able to flash away at the last possible second while layering damage in. The Pantheon ult is actually what does it, which is kind of funny.
I mean, I think that he would have done it with just Peyz's help, but the fact that Oner comes down and shares in that money as well means that the Pantheon has a slight advantage as the dust settles as T1 look to start stacking their Chemtech dragons. Rich, though, does get some plates.
Yeah, he's keeping it around 500, like I was saying.
There we go.
The problem is the Ashe on the bottom lane, or in the mid lane in this case, but that's where the real gold problem is here for Kiwoom DRX, is dealing with this empowered Ashe right now, who just made an incredible play to save the mid laner in the bottom lane sides. And we're looking at Chemtech Dragon here, so Kiwoom's 2-trick lead feels less valuable. Again, we mentioned how it's pretty good for these comps, but it's not leading to a soul that's game-breaking, like a Hextech or an Infernal or a Mountain is often. I don't think this is the best Mountain example, but you know what I mean. In this case, Chemtech valuable. We're going to fight for it probably, but you're not going to force T1 into an uncomfortable position with the vision they have right now, for example, with this, if they had it when the Drake is up, because it's not, but you get my point.
Yeah. There is, on the other hand, though, like a quad Chemtech soul with this comp, kind of revolting. Keria will be doing a lot of healing.
That's actually kind of nasty to think about.
Yeah.
I don't like that you put that into my head.
And look, that's where the tempo vibes are taking us, towards T1 being able to lock down whatever they would like. However, LazyFeel trying to do something about that, as now Peyz getting flashed on once again, but there's the encore. They were waiting for the over-aggression, and Keria is able to put him down. In the meantime, though, it's the final hour here in this top lane, and Doran is dead, ladies and gentlemen. That was just a little bit of a bridge too far. The rest of T1 looking for an angle, but it is just going to be this outer turret that they focus on.
Yeah, I mean, that type of play has a small chance of working. The execution was, again, great for LazyFeel. Last time he didn't have his barrier, barely didn't have the damage, took a lot before. This time, there's just an encore waiting. There are limits to what you can do in this situation. Only one Mikhail's.
Oh, well, Peyz doesn't have any buttons to press to get out of this one. Rich is angry as Keria wants to take the Shelly exit. And does have 11 health on the Shelly, and then it is going to die, and now he is going to follow suit. LazyFeel wants to grab that kill as they look to set it up for him, and Ucal's like, that's my money. And he takes it. The Orianna getting paid, certainly going to be a good thing here, as well as Faker just splitting on the top side.
So watch LazyFeel go in here on the Peyz. Barriers traded, does a ton of damage. A lot of this is front-loaded, gets the W, but then this encore comes through. And there's just no answer. Even with Wild Growth, he's just CC'd to death. Well, CC'd and shot to death. And then here, things looking a little bit messy on the side of T1, but they are able to get Doran on the other side here. Ucal has a lot of damage, though, and a lot of assistance. And then the mid lane with Keria, I don't watch this again. I guess he just decides if he runs left there, he's going to die anyways, so he gets polymorph, goes for the Herald, and then this Blast Cone, imagine a world where Keria actually gets the root here after the Blast Cone, on, and then gets out. Like, imagine he gets over their heads.
So crazy.
It would have been crazy.
All right, well, now we're setting up for a dragon in 2 minutes. Keria throws out the ulti. That is going to at least keep the rest of his teammates safe. Shockwave going to get flashed. That was really cute by Ucal to put it in front of where he could have flashed towards. Keria outplays it and will be able to keep himself alive. Still, does have to flash in order to get out.
So I had to use his ultimate to try to peel for the rest of his team. I think that's one of the symptoms of what's becoming quickly a bigger problem here for T1 in this game, is just not able to kind of group and use their team comp to its utmost power. And Kiwoom DRX are picking them apart a little bit. They're still 2,500 gold behind, but
it's
a few more of these moments. Yeah, a few more of these moments, and suddenly you're back in the game. So we need to be very cautious. Showcasing our ultimates here for a potential dragon fight. All going to be up. All 3 of those missing ones. Obviously, the Ashe arrow comes up super fast.
Sometimes it's good to check in on the cooldowns, but looks like there's not a whole lot to fight for at the minute. The Baron is up, and in a minute's time, there is going to be potential soul point once again for Kiwoom DRX.
One thing to mention too is that, you know, Keria lost his flash. Peyz also traded flash with LazyFeel, and I think that favors LazyFeel because he has the dive setup and he has a pretty huge dash to get on top of this Ashe. So the burst damage is absolutely there. So that's another cooldown that was being showcased there that I think could be really impactful when we go into this next dragon fight if T1 go for a full contest here. They may simply just see what they can get in terms of prio. They don't like the fight, they can walk away without these critical flashes. But again, right now, they have a lot of control. 13 seconds until spawn here. But if they lose this fight, if they mess this up, if they botch this, if Peyz dies first in the fight, or Faker isn't able to find an angle, Kiwoom DRX, I think, take the lead if they win this fight. It's a pretty crazy potential turning point here.
Yeah, especially if Rich is able to get a lot done. He teleports in now as T1 are looking to engage. Beatrop not doing too much of anything at all, as LazyFeel will get a bit of a whimsy shield. Willa on a flank angle. Ucal here towards the bottom lane, just trying to get some tempo where they can. LazyFeel down to 50% against Faker, though, and that is not a great trade here for Kiwoom DRX. T1 might be able to use that in order to take this dragon, so it would be their second Chemtech of this game.
This is before IE. I don't know if T1 need a hard force here, but if they can find the right angle with that Emperor's Divide, it's absolutely a winnable fight.
Well, there's the flash cease and desist. Shockwave comes in as well. The Encore does absolutely nothing as in goes Oner just to rejoin the rest of his team. As out they will go. There's a Condemn onto Willa just to push him back towards T1. And they are pushing forward. Still, no one dead on either side, but so many buttons now on cooldown as Faker says, I've got the Emperor's Divide, picks off the AD carry, and down goes the Yunara. Kiwoom DRX without their machine gun are not going to be able to do anything here in this fight, and that should be Dragon number 2 to T1.
The target selection was decisive, but the target was too far away. They got Peyz there. They could not follow up enough, and so many tools were used. And then Kiwoom DRX just ran away. Like, they were like, oh, we almost got him. Guess we'll leave. And they concede all control to T1. So look at this. Follow-up, where is it? See the knock-up here from the Wild Growth still. LazyFeel is at half health, cannot actually do the follow-up damage. And now you have a Wild Growth Vi, so you're not going to be able to empower LazyFeel for the turn. And then this follow-up here. LazyFeel's like, all right, let's see if we can layer damage on the door. And oops. A little bit too far forward, get caught by Faker's flash shuffle divide.
And he would have killed Ucal as well if Ucal hadn't flashed it.
And like, that's exactly what I was saying with Faker in this fight, you know, if he just Emperor's Divides the Yunara, that's probably just all she wrote for the fight, but the way he did it was stylish, to say the least.
Pretty slick. That's why he's the GOAT, ladies and gentlemen. As Doran here just cleans up some minions towards the bottom side. Rich is down there once again. Probably wishes he wasn't, but still that number is 500. As Wolf said, if it stays that way, then Rich is going to be much happier.
It's getting better for him. It's not getting better for LazyFeel, is the concern I have. As LazyFeel has tried for a lot of all-ins, and they have all failed. Now IE is done for Peyz, by the way. Well, didn't have it in the last fight, which is why that was such a critical timing for Kiwoom DRX. And as you can see with LazyFeel, he is significantly further behind in his build of said item and may not actually see the light of day in any relevant team fight in this game.
Oh, Rich actually moving down here. Does have Willa backing him up. Oner and Doran moving on over. That is going to be some vision placed down. Next Dragon, 3.5 minutes. The Baron still up and available. Has been for 5 minutes. Looks like no one's really concerned about heading towards that one just yet. As finally Rich does hit that level 16. He's actually not too far behind as far as experience is concerned. Sort of lurking around the minions as they die.
Not too bad. He does not have his second item, which is really painful. But again, he's just kind of a W button. And ideally with empowered W.
Yeah, and a flash, I think, is probably what he's going to require.
So let's see if they can get the follow-up on the Peyz this time. Last time, the engage was great. Wild Growth follow-up was great. But LazyFeel wasn't able to press your right-click, basically, on Peyz. Maybe this time around, with this Hail Mary, 4,000 gold behind, the dream of keeping this series alive and having our first 6-game day of LCK 2026 could happen, but right now I've got to get my telescope out to see the angle. I'm looking at through my telescope with binoculars and I have a magnifying glass on top of the binoculars, but I can see a faint angle here for Kiwoom DRX.
I think a man with a protractor would also struggle to find an angle on this one, Wolf. This is a difficulty. Even though, as I say that, 3,500 gold, not exactly crazy at 26 minutes, so maybe all you need is a protractor, and hopefully Kiwoom DRX have one in order to deliver us the longest day of the season so far. Peyz will be clearing out these minions, and T1 still just trying to get their ducks in a row. 2 minutes on this Drake.
A pretty risky Baron from T1 in game 1. You know, Kiwoom DRX definitely keeping on the cards that something like that could be something that causes T1 to make a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, is Doran overextended.
Assist does come on through there. Wild Growth as well is going to capitalize as the arrow is going to sail through Doran. He flashes the shockwave though. He was really waiting for that one.
They used
get some value out of that button.
3 ultimates to almost kill Doran.
Yeah.
That's not efficient, but there's 90 seconds until the Dragon's up, but T1 might see an opportunity here as Vayne's flash is less valuable than all of those buttons if they could do the Baron right now before the Dragon spawns. Doran doesn't have TP, but he's going to back and head back over. Instead of starting the Baron, though, T1 are just going to clear these waves out, try to maintain prio on the top side of the map as then they rotate in to challenge for this Dragon. Crazy how it still feels like there is that one angle, that one chance for Kiwoom in this game.
I mean, their composition should be able to teamfight pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Like Rich going in, having a Wild Growth as well as his stun would be a lot of value. As Hex Optics done here for LazyFeel.
Yeah,
would have liked to see an Infinity Edge, but
going for that instead of IE.
Probably just because he could afford it.
Yeah.
Might be like, let's get whatever item spike we can find, see whether we can fight for this Dragon.
I mean, if he wins the team fight, he can get an IE right afterwards because he's going to be cleaning it up and getting a multi-kill.
That's true. And if he kills Fakie, you know, that's a whole bunch of extra money.
That's a lot of money.
He's shut down. Shutdowns could actually go a long way if Kiwoom DRX. Still, Rich blast cones his way towards Doran.
LazyFeel 3,000 gold behind nearly. Oh, that's not true. That tricked me, that total gold graph. It's 2.2 thousand behind.
2.2 is still a decently large number. As this turret just completely goes out entirely, and the flash not being up is a big deal, as it turns out, because Rich is able to grab himself his first kill of the game. Shockwave is flashed there by Oner, who tries to blast cone his way out. The Encore does nothing at all as LazyFeel should be able to pick up the kill onto Oner. That's his first kill as T1. They were trying to do a sneaky Baron at the same time with 2 dead. They can't do that anymore. It's an absolute disaster, and Kiwoom DRX might be able to get soul point.
I don't think T1 were on the same page. Maybe they weren't on the same book as to what everyone was trying to do at that moment as Doran's dying. They're trying to do Baron. Oner doesn't have ult.
They were all playing 3 different games at once.
I don't know what the thought process there was. A 3-ring circus, I suppose.
Well, Rich is going to be delivered to the turret. Slices in order to get his way out and just stride breaks for fun. Was a little bit cute. Still, Faker is going to be able to tidy up this minion wave and at least stop that push. But
I mean,
Kiwoom DRX just take down this turret. They should be able to move over towards the Baron as well, right?
Yeah, I think they have the damage.
Ground Starfall is not available just yet.
I'm surprised they didn't actually stick the Baron. I think the Baron's more valuable than that turret because you could just get the turret afterwards, but they were concerned about T1's Baron team fight. So Oner ults in here, but it's way too late, and now he's stuck, right? And he cannot really do anything. So they decide to make the call to start Baron. He flashes this, but Keria cannot actually keep him alive. Then he goes in here to try to extend the Encore, I guess, because Keria's kind of kiting, but I don't really know. He flashed. Like, he doesn't have flash now.
Yeah.
Going to try to defend Doran with limited information, I think that part's fine. Everything else got a little bit weird for me.
Well, you can see that gold lead absolutely torn apart. And so now they're going to try and find a few angles. Willa has his GA done, though. He has an item advantage. He's 600 gold up over Oner right now. And the arrow is just going to, once again, pollute the skies of Runeterra.
Yeah, just looking like maybe a dragon check? That was a weird angle if they were trying to get rich with that.
Yeah, it was just a... Sometimes you throw an arrow and just hope.
Like, what? There's no dragon to check, so I guess it was... Maybe you thought Renekton was going to go in at that moment. That just looked strange.
Yeah.
Keria and crew do clear this vision up, and they have control over the Baron now. They'll control that, or clear that control ward in the pit very quickly. And now Kiwoom DRX, their worst fears are realized, right? You know, T1 is wrestling Baron control away. Pantheon's ult's back up. The Yunara still doesn't have that coveted 4th item going straight into LDR here.
There is double GA, though, on Kiwoom DRX.
That's the double GA or triple GA we saw in our previous series dive that can be the scariest. Peyz is going to have to deal with a lot here.
What? Rich is 1,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah, he's just kind of been chilling over there.
And he's also, like, he's even on farm. Like, Renekton's fine.
Yeah, he's
completely fine.
They're also,
he tried to dopamine detox and he failed.
Yeah, he
started scrolling again, Wolf.
Yeah, he did. He's after the red dots.
Oh, he really is.
It's really common to relapse after a tough time locked in the lane with Vayne.
And it's, you know, for our generation, his generation, it is, you know, it's something that we grew up with. We didn't understand that we were supposed to be careful of it, you know?
Yeah, the Vayne lane, you know, it's not everyone can walk out with as a changed person.
Yeah. And so they tried, you know, it's normally pretty good, but Rich's ability to feel good about doing things on Summoner's Rift was just too strong.
There's not a whole lot of gold in this in terms of items here. 4th item is actually done for LazyFeel. He was actually going for the
Mortal Reminder
4th, so
pretty good against the Seraphine.
Yeah, frankly, pretty massive spike here for him. And he doesn't necessarily need to be doing all the big boom boom crit damage if they can kill the prio targets with their engage.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Rich and Willa will be doing a fair bit of work themselves. The team fight just looks kind of nice for Kiwoom DRX if they get their ducks in a row. If they're able to get it done,
I think the thing they need to be willing to do, which they've had a few chances to do, but they've kind of chickened out every time, is when they clear Baron Vision like they just did one time, they need to start it and commit, like Rich is TPing in if T1 come for the contest and look for a turn off of it. Because otherwise T1 is just like calling you on your bluff every time. Yeah, you guys got vision, but we got wave clear and we're coming in and you guys didn't use it, so we go again.
Oh god, okay, LazyFeel is hit by an arrow, and if there wasn't an turret there and it's now gone, he would just be dead. He now has to go back to base. T1 just build as much space as they would like.
T1, they have Faker's TP. They might look to start the Baron off of this pressure. There's a little bit of vision they need to clear. And they had the Sundisk turret. I kind of thought they would have just ran straight towards it.
I think with the soul available for Kiwoom DRX, you would, if you lost a fight around the Baron, really go very far into losing the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At that point. So 40 seconds, T1 will be able to set up vision around this dragon, as Oner is over there already. Going to be fighting Willa momentarily. Finds that Aegis just to mitigate some of it, but the trade is very even between himself and the Vi.
Yeah, if he stayed around longer, it would have started to be good for Kiwoom because Ucal is there. They need to be careful about stacking up for a shockwave, as Ucal is huge at this point. We're 34 minutes into this game. A shockwave onto multiple people might just be team fight winning in itself.
Yep. Rich also lying in wait. The level 19 Renekton. Level advantage over Doran.
Starting to get a little bit split here, though, and Rich might have to TP to the other side.
The arrow goes wide. Possible opportunity here as Faker goes in, then goes out. These Sand Soldiers are doing so much work. Mega Blast Cone gets Rich out of there, but
they're split.
Half of his health bar is also gone. He has teleport and can use that to get a big old shield to get back into this fight, but doesn't have Dominus.
They might just have to give this dragon up. They are in no position to fight for this.
6 elemental drakes killed in this game as we tick over to 35 minutes in. Level 19 done for Doran.
Rich's flank was ambitious, and Doran was just like, I found you, and now you can't do anything. And so he had to leave, and that was the end of it, because LazyFeel was also getting pushed by Faker. Both solo laners here for T1 just won the fight before it started, and Kiwoom at least did not opt in, because Like you're saying, you opt into a fight like this against T1 this late into the game. I think the game is just done if you do not control it, and they just did not have the angle to set up their CC.
Yep, and also the northern angle of the fight, I think Faker managed to get the ult out of LazyFeel.
Yes.
Which is why KRX couldn't actually commit to anything after that.
Way.
They did not have enough damage.
Absolutely. 8 seconds and he'll be back up. He's level 16 now.
Well, Ucal might not be back up at all, as Emperor's Divide is going to go through the Zonya'd up Orianna, but he's still going to go down. The Encore isn't going to find the mark here as LazyFeel trying to kite as best he can. Willa, he can't really do that though, as he does have a GA, but that is going to go down immediately. Doran going in. These Silver Bolts really starting to hurt as Faker is going to swoop on top of this Yunara to take him down. Willa is also dead. Andil's running the wrong direction. And Oner, I think, should be able to utilize the passive or just a flash in order to take him down. T1 now just looking to clean up the rest of the kills.
Yeah, T1, I mean, at this point, it's a choose your own adventure game, looking to just win the game off of this play. They end up getting 4 kills. They can just push towards this inhibitor and kite back to Baron afterwards. They can take this inner. They have really whatever they want to do. We're super long death timers here. Looks like they're going to do inhibitor first, maybe look for a reset and or Baron.
Yeah, Ucal will be up for the defense of these Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I don't
know whether it's going to be enough.
You may be right. Like, maybe the damage is just too much here on this Ashe at this point.
They have double AD carry as well, as in goes Rich to clear up the wave. He might actually have been able to do that as he goes down to his GA. Ucal goes golden once again. Faker swoops in though, looks for the angle and he finds it. Rich gonna go down as well. It's a double for Doran. Oner tanks up everything, but the rest of KRX are respawning. Do they have the wave clear though? That's the real question. Condemn back onto Willa. He cease and desists to get back on top of Oner and gets back onto his fountain as well. Oner going down very low. They take one Nexus turret, but the wave is now gone. As these minions are spawning, T1 really just want to finish this series here.
There's no way they can defend without Ucal. They need to defend for 35 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, Keria taking a lot of damage though, as there's a condemn on the LazyFeel. Willa taking so much from Doran, and they dive on through. The Nexus is now exposed. He finds the last silver bullet to take down his mark, and there goes the Nexus. T1 with a 2-0, but KRX made them work for it.
They really did, and this was a very eclectic series for T1, but they got it done in the end.